Welcome to the Social Work is Everywhere podcast, where we uncover the powerful, diverse, and far reaching impact of social work across the globe. Each episode, we spotlight the practice, research, and experience of students and social workers from a wide range of industries and professions. From clinical care to policy change, from leadership to grassroots advocacy and community engagement, social work is truly everywhere. Through the voices of the University of Maryland School of Social Work community, including faculty, staff, students, alumni, and global partners, we'll explore unique perspectives and innovative initiatives shaping the future of the field.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Reyazuddin. I am a second-year foundation student at the University of Maryland, Baltimore School of Social Work. I am in the clinical concentration. I am also the first-gen lead scholar for the First Generation Student Program. I have the honor today to chat with Dean Judy Postmus about the new vision for the School of Social Work and how it applies to the student journey and experience.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it.
So, a little bit of background. The University of Maryland School of Social Work recently shared a new vision statement after months of discussions, focus groups, and surveys with UMSSW stakeholders, including faculty and staff. The vision statement solidifies and anchors the school's efforts in alignment with strategic goals and plans. So this new vision statement is, at the University of Maryland School of Social Work, we envision a future where social work research, practice, and policy come together to drive social justice and equity, strengthen communities, and improve lives locally, nationally, and globally. So as I'm here having this conversation with Dean Postmus, I wanted to get us started off with just what is the importance of a vision statement?
Well, thanks, Michelle, for that question. And I'm really excited to have this vision statement. So the difference for me of having a vision statement and a mission statement is the work you're going to do. The vision statement is where do you want to go? And a lot of times you don't reach the vision because and if you look at it or heard our vision statement, it would always be there. But it's something that we strive to do, and it gives us a North Star, so to speak, of people understanding and knowing both within and outside where we're headed as a school.
Yep, that's a great distinction between the vision and the mission and how both are important, but have their own individual roles. Why was it important for the school to have a new vision statement?
We've had the same mission statement for a while, but we haven't really had much attention to a vision statement. And when I started in July of 2020 as dean, I was asked by several faculty and staff, well, what's my vision? What's my vision? What's my vision? And I always said, well, it's our vision. It's not my vision. And so I said, it's going to take some time. And it did take some time to get this vision statement out, mainly because we just wanted to make sure that everyone had a voice in it and could contribute what they thought we should be doing and aiming for as a school. So that's why I think it was important for us to have this new statement in place.
So it sounds like it's been years in the making and very collaborative. Can you talk a little more about what the process was to develop the vision statement?
It was conversations with leaders, senior leaders, other leaders. It was conversations with faculty and staff. It was surveys. It was an all-staff meeting where we were talking about it and brainstorming at different tables. It was collecting ideas. At one point, there were 4 different vision statements that were somewhat similar, but one was really long, this one is short. And so at the end we said, okay, we're going to put it out to the community, vote which one you want. And that's the one, whoever gets the most votes, whichever statement gets the most votes is going to be the statement. And this is the statement that got the most votes. So I'm thrilled because usually vision statements are short. And this one gets right to the point of exactly who we are and what we're trying to do here as a school.
It's definitely very clear where our priorities are and how collaborative the process hopes to be, first starting off in administration and then going into the community, hopefully including students in there as well. Um, asking as a student and just, hearing about this new vision statement, I'm wondering about your thoughts on what ways can we as students incorporate this new vision into, our classwork, our research, our practicum experience, or even just in community while we're in the school of social work.
So I technically can throw that question back to you of how are you doing it? But I'll answer. I mean, the big thing about social work and what makes us different from psychology, makes us different from marriage and family therapy, and other types of counseling type programs is that we combine research, practice, and policy. And that's the big part of our mission statement where we're trying to have them come together. And so for students who are, especially those who want to go into practice, those who are in the clinical concentration, it's not just, you're not just doing therapy or you're not just doing one-on-one counseling or group counseling. You really, what's going on in the outside world, what's going on in policy is impacting what's happening in your work. And that is clearly something that's happening pretty regularly now. What's happening, understanding research and what's new with research. Have there been any tested interventions and things that we should be paying attention to and shifting how we do things? So I think it's keep in mind of those three things. So if you're in a policy class, how does that apply to my practice? What research is out there that can help me? If you're in a research class, same thing. How does this apply to my practice along with policy? And so it's really taking those three concepts and keeping them at the forefront of what you do as a student.
Thank you. Yeah, I am looking forward to, envisioning this vision statement in classwork, in practice, and then into future careers as a social work student and future social worker. Um, I'm wondering how do you see the school of social work incorporating this new vision into the work that the school does outside of the school? So within the city, the state, and
Well, I
beyond.
think for students who are focusing on research, policy, and practice, I think the other piece for the external community that's important, but also is to look at the social justice and equity, and the vision of strengthening our communities from Baltimore to the state of Maryland to the country to globally. So I think that that is an important aspect of who we are as a school, that we do believe in social justice and equity, and that that is part of our DNA, and what we want to do as a school, and who we want to partner with in the community. Whether businesses, for profit, nonprofit, government, there's many different types of organizations. So I think for them to understand the vision, it's important that we talk about it. It's important that we put it on our tagline for emails. It's important that we all understand this vision and can actually see it come to life in everything that we do.
And really keeping it at the center of our work. I really appreciate, me personally, that it includes our dedication to improving lives nationally and globally, understanding, the current context of where we are. Um, I'm interested more in understanding how this new vision will come to life within the school social work as well, right? We talk about our community partnerships. Given the various issues that social work students are facing right now, with the undervaluing of our social work profession as a whole, upcoming tuition increases that might be coming to the school. I'm wondering, how can administration and students both incorporate the new vision as a way to strengthen the school social work community?
I think that it is, especially some of the values around justice and equity and strengthening communities both here and abroad. These are things that I have had as one of my core values ever since I started. The university has equity and justice as one of their core values. It isn't a unique thing. And I think for an administrator, I pay attention to when I'm making decisions. I think about the values. I think about my social work values. I think about how, in making a decision, how is it going to impact people? How is it going to, whatever the decision is, whether it's, it's going to impact students or faculty or staff or the community or the university at large. I I talk to others, I get feedback, I look at data, but I also look at the values and ensure that it is still in line with social work values. And part of that might be that difficult decisions are just communicated, and in a way that might not want to hear the answer, but it's important to say, I understand. I understand what's going on," and giving an explanation of the why some decisions are made. Sometimes that happens or not. But I think that as far as getting it implemented, my hope is that faculty and staff and the leadership of this school and students have this as part of they keep this in the back of their mind. So when they're teaching a class or they're doing research or, they're in committee work or they're, doing collecting data, whatever it is, that they keep this in the back of their mind and see how exactly does this apply to my work? Because it does. It applies to everything that we do here at the school. Um, and if you can't see it, then have conversations with your teammates or others you're working with and go, now how do I get this? What does this mean for me doing work in X agency, doing this kind of clinical practice? How do I make this real for me? Because I think that's the important part in order for us to really embrace a vision and to say this is where we're going. You have to really adopt it. It's not just something we put on the website.
Right. Yeah, that is one of the things I appreciate about this vision statement. It's very grounded in the social work values and in line with our code of ethics and all the all the goals that we have in the social work profession. That was going to be my next question of how do you see administration, faculty, staff, students holding ourselves accountable and reminding ourselves of this vision in our work?
That is the hardest part because you can take
Right.
it by yourself and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to, and we encourage people individually to do that. But when you see others doing, not doing, it becomes a lot more difficult. And I think that that's part of learning the conversation of how do you talk with someone, not talk down to them, not accuse them, not but trying to understand who they are and what they're thinking, and then gently talking about, well, we have our vision, we have our mission. This is the code of ethics, and we do that pretty regularly with students who are struggling in classes and in practicum placement. So I think that it is that's going to be hard. Um, but I do think it's a matter of all of us being aware of the vision, and then again, not ramming it down anybody's throat, not insisting, not, all those things, but making it um, just as part of a conversation and helping somebody else. It might not be that they don't agree with the vision statement. It might be they just haven't thought about how to put it in their practice and they don't see it. And so that's the gentle part of, well, let's have a conversation about this before we move into the stronger category of accountability and holding somebody accountable.
Right. Yeah. Just calling people in and having those open conversations instead of calling out and taking a more accusatory route. Just having those conversations about how we can keep these social work values, which are very broad, but very essential to the work that we do as social workers and as individuals in society outside of our
Right. And it
profession.
isn't
Just holding all of those
right. And it
together.
isn't just the administration's responsibility to do that. Right. This is an us. We as a school, the students who are here for the time that they're here, because y'all don't stay long term, for the staff, for the faculty, for administration.
Maybe I come
You
back.
never
I don't
know.
know.
You might come back as one of our instructors. But I think keeping it's important that it's not just, oh, this person's not doing it, so I'm going to run and tell the dean or somebody else. It should be pull the person aside, have a conversation, talk about the vision, talk about how are they incorporating it. Um, if you get stuck and things don't go well, then maybe you're bringing in somebody else. But to really, I encourage folks to think we're all adults. We're all adults at this school. We don't teach children. And I think it's important for us to be comfortable enough to have those kind of conversations with those in our classrooms and those who work here.
Right. Yeah. Those one-on-one conversations to really open it up and keep it
Yes.
genuine. Yeah, you mentioned that, students are only here for a limited amount of time. So while this new vision statement is wonderful to keep us grounded, I was wondering, do you have any advice for students developing their own vision in their future in social work?
Yes. So I think
I'm all
like, how
ears.
do I develop a vision statement? I know that and I didn't even mention this earlier, but the process started with me coming up with a vision statement. My vision statement was very long. And it started with okay, 5 years from now, what does the school look like? What does it smell like? What is the activity? What is the environment like? What's the, how or what, what is the school 5 years from now? And for an individual, where are you going to be 5 years from now? What is your goal in being a social worker? What do you envision that you want to do? And what does that look like? And that's not just professionally, it's also personally and thinking of your own, your own life and where you want to be 5 years from now. And so I just literally did like free form of handwriting. And then I turned to a particular AI program and I asked for some advice. So to help shorten it, to help me think about it, to help me, um, which really helped because it challenged me to think, especially when I would throw in all this is the code of ethics. How does this fit? And how, I mean, so, and of course, then having lots of other people jump in afterwards and adding their thoughts. So, yeah, I think for an individual, for you to, just brainstorm. I had somebody the other day just said, all right, Judy, close your eyes and imagine 5 years from now. What happens? What does it look like? And then just free forming and then using tools to help you come up with a vision statement. My hope is that a lot of the comments and the values listed in this vision statement will become part of your vision statement and other students, because it is so in line with social work and social work value.
Right. Yeah, we can't let go of those social work values. They're gonna follow us everywhere. It's we're one of the professions that get to really become our profession in a lot of ways and carry those same values into every aspect of our
And chances
lives.
are we
So,
had those values before we chose this degree, right? That we saw this degree, we saw the values, we looked at our own values and the values we formed as a child and into adulthood. Because if we had completely different values, social work would not be the right place for you, right? So,
right.
yeah.
Just it's just one of the ways that we've quantified our values and made it real and will continue to. Yeah, that is one thing. Social justice and equity, specifically in the new vision statement, has been something that I hold very close. In the first generation student success program, equity and access have been the center of the work that I hope to do. And so when you were saying that you brainstorm, I was thinking about this upcoming event that we have of
Mm,
vision boards and how all of us we come together and we make vision boards at the beginning of the year to ground and to guide the work that we're hoping to do in the upcoming year. And so we're taking what you're saying right now and we're putting it right to work in the first gen
right. Because
program.
that is visioning, right? It's
So,
all about you start with brainstorming and then you start whittling it away, whittling it down, figuring out what's the core, what's the meat, to come up with a couple of sentences because you don't want a huge vision statement because then it's hard to remember everything. You want something that you can say, this is where we're going, or this is where I am going, depending on how you're doing this.
for sure. My last question for you, where can we find the vision statement?
Well, right now it's in the lobby of our building. When you come in and you swipe your card and you go past security, if you kept going down that first floor, there's a table there right next to this tree that's on the wall, and the vision statement is there, and we're asking people to sign on a paper that's there to say, I agree with this, and this is what I'm going to do. I think from there, our director of marketing and strategic communications is looking for or will be implementing a contest, so to speak, of people did you add it to your signature line in your email? How did you incorporate it in your everyday practice? Did you talk about it with anybody? So all these various categories that would encourage the community to adopt the vision statement and make it real for them. That it's not just something that the academics got together and created, but that we really are. It is part of who we are, and as a school and as a profession.
Yeah, I had passed by it. I have not seen it yet on the first floor, but I'll
It's
definitely have
hard to
to
see because
check
it's
it
on a
out.
table, so it's flat and it's wrapped.
Right, I did see it. I wasn't sure what it
So
was.
yeah, the vision statement is underneath there, and so signing off on it. So certainly encouraging, everybody, anyone can sign. It's just a matter of saying, yes, I get this vision, and yes, I agree, and yes, I'm signing on.
Well, that's all I had to ask you, Dean Postmus. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
thoughtful answers and for bringing us together with this vision statement that's been very long in the
Yeah.
making.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate the questions, Michelle. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you identifying yourself as a first gen scholar. I too am one of those first gen scholars. And my mother, who's still alive, is very proud that I have this PhD because nobody ever envisioned that. Because both of my parents are immigrants, and it really, and social work has been a profession that has been very good to me. I've made a whole career out of it. I graduated in 1990 and been working in the field ever since, including academia. So thank you for the time to talk, and I look forward to seeing you around campus.
yep, me too. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Social Work is Everywhere podcast. If you've been inspired by the stories and impact shared today, consider supporting the University of Maryland School of Social Work. Your donation helps fund scholarships, research, innovative teaching, and community partnerships that make a real difference. Every gift matters. Visit ssw.umaryland.edu/give to donate today. To request more information about admission to the University of Maryland School of Social Work, visit ssw.umaryland.edu/MSW.